This is the cold water?
Yeah. It's the blue, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So it's coming out here. Is that normal? It's coming out here. We're Mika and Reggie, camping newbies intrigued by the RV lifestyle. He's a concrete camper
Who loves concrete pads, manicured lawns, and beautiful views.
and I'm the concrete glamper. I love campsite decor, and more is more. On the weekends, we've moved from the couch to camping. And as Southerners, we always tow our hospitality and charm as we chase the sun, sand, and sea.
In our RV. Had some work done that, due to my mistakes, I had to have some professionals repair it. So I'm gonna go in and take care and see what the damage is, and I will be back out to let y'all know. Gotta pay the piper. It was really around the dewinterization of my RV. So you guys may recall there was an Arctic blast that came through a couple weeks ago, and at our storage facility they actually have a service center. So luckily we were out here, we drove out here I think on like a Tuesday, and then I ran in and asked, hey, would you guys be able to winterize the RV for me? Luckily they were willing to do that and got it done, I think that Thursday before everything went to single digits here in Atlanta, Georgia. So that saved us some money and some pain to have them go ahead and winterize it for us. So we were very thankful for that. On our next trip, heading out to Hilton Head, I figured, hey, we'll take it out, and then once we get there, I'll just de-winterize it myself. I've watched enough YouTube videos. I know what I'm doing. Not a problem.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong?
So what's going on?
Busted filter, so I need to go get another filter. So can you run up to the office and see if they have one? Okay?
Okay.
All right.
So crisis averted. What? It's not the right kind?
No, but I need the extension. There's no way to...
Here's a step over here. Is it a
I need
a footstool? It's always an adventure. So apparently we are going dumpster diving. Always resourceful. Reggie accidentally threw out the hookup to the hose. Thankfully, it is a clean dumpster. It's able to retrieve it. Good dumpster dive, buddy. It's productive. I don't think that does anything.
I can see red, which are both spinning towards the pipe. Okay, that's what's supposed to be going on, right?
Yes, because they need to be opposite.
But I don't see the freaking bypass. All right. So this is pointed. So we got a couple things here. This is the pump. This would have to be the bypass. And the bypass is closed. So we want to leave the bypass closed, and I gotta manually undo this and swap this out. So this is closed. Those two need to be opened, and then we can start pumping. I think we can pump water.
This is the cold water?
Yeah. It's the blue, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So it's coming out here. Is that normal? It's coming out here. It's coming out here.
Yeah. That is normal. But it was
Water in there?
open. Yeah, well, no, the water's on.
It's open and it's no water coming out.
No water coming out up in there?
No. All right, now it's coming out.
Now it's coming out?
Yeah. Last step of the night, ladies and gentlemen.
And one hopes.
We have lots to share. This has definitely been an adventure.
Yeah. Not a fun one. The electric element. Do not dry fire electric. Do not dry fire electric element. Make sure heater is filled with water before electric element is turned on. I didn't know what I was doing. It was very apparent. I thought I knew what I was doing by watching YouTube and figured, hey, there's some easy things. This should be easy. You just run the faucets. Shouldn't be a problem. So let's go around and I can kind of show you guys what went wrong. The big problem that we had was our hot water heater. For some of you, this is actually a Suburban hot water heater. And for many of you, you know there's a anode rod that goes into the hot water heater. And to simplify it, I believe that the anode rod is used to collect any calcium buildup or anything of that nature from essentially eating away your hot water heater. Well, at the time of dewinterization and we arrived in Hilton Head, the anode rod was out and it had been winterized. So my thought process was, okay, this should be pretty easy, not a problem. We're just gonna flush out the water and make sure that we get all the antifreeze out and put the anode rod back in and we should be good to go. Well, one thing that Reggie did not realize is that the anode rod actually needs a socket wrench to be put back in. You cannot put it in by hand. It needs to be tightened. This one actually is a 1 1/16. So we ran out. I bought this. I was like, okay, not a problem. I should be able to hand tighten it. At least I can get around here and tighten it. Well, again, Reggie did not think that I needed an extension for a ratchet, because if it were to just fit on naturally, I don't have enough clearance to turn. So I had to go out and buy a extension for my ratchet, and I got this put together. You know, it snaps together. We're good here. Put this on, and I was able to, okay, cool, not a problem. I'll just go ahead and put this back in and tighten it down. Not a problem. But I also did not follow the proper steps. So what I would say is, A, consult your manual, because this is not a professional recommendation. But one thing is consult your manual. 2, make sure you know where your water cutoffs are as well as your bypass. Our bypass was located in the bedroom underneath the closet. The tricky thing with that is knowing when it's on and when it's off.
Do you want to go show them?
Yeah, let's go back and I'll show you where my bypass is. So we're in the bedroom in the back here of Trina May, and I needed to know where my bypass for the hot water heater is. And the bypass essentially allows water to flow through your RV with the antifreeze to be flushed out, but not go into your hot water heater. That is very key. The other key piece of information that you guys need to know that I did not pay attention to nor think about is turning on your heating, your pump, and then your water heater button. I made the error of turning on the heating button, the hot water heater button, and from what I researched and was told, as soon as you turn that on and there is no water in your hot water heater, it's toast. I wound up burning out my heating element, and there is no getting it back from, oh, I pushed it, oh, I forgot, and turning it back off. As soon as you hit it and there's no water in your tank, in your hot water heater tank, it's gone. So, getting back to what I brought you guys back here for, here's where our bypass is. So as you guys can see, it's underneath our closet here, and currently it is in the off position. And if it were flipped down, it would be in the on position. We did not understand, nor let's not put Meek in this. I didn't understand which way it should have gone. But in my defense, there is no on or off labeling in here to know which way this should run. We looked online, it said it should run perpendicular with the pipe. Well, if you guys notice, there's two pipes. It can run perpendicular either way. Not sure if that was clear. Was in a hurry. It was dark. It was getting late. I was trying to get some hot water into the rig.
And in your defense, it had been a very long day. It was a travel day. It was 6 hours later. And like you said, it was dark, and we started to confuse ourselves after a good hour or two going back and forth.
So what I will be doing is labeling this switch, this little, this switch itself, and put O and probably an F. So on and off, or how we figure that out. But I'm going to label this so for future use, I know how to dewinterize and winterize and bypass my hot water heater. Because I ended up running antifreeze that was left in from our water filter here.
Because this was full of antifreeze.
Yeah, and I think that ended up running through the hot water heater as well. No damage was caused from that. I probably looked like a hot mess because it was a hot mess. We were a hot mess. Hindsight is 20/20, right? So here's what I should have done. When we arrived at the site, I should have filled up the freshwater tank. That's step one. Step two, open up all my water lines, the hot, the cold. Make sure that they're open and able to pull water from the freshwater tank, putting the freshwater tank pump on. So doing that, then open up all the valves. You know, your front kitchen or your kitchen that you have. Make sure you do your bathroom, your toilet, any external water hoses that you have. If it's a shower or any outside kitchen that you have, make sure that's all running nice and clean, no antifreeze, get all that out. Then I would have went ahead and put my anode rod back in to my hot water tank. Come back into the back here where I am, turn my bypass off, then go ahead and pump water into the actual hot water heater. One of the great things that I did learn that once your hot water heater is full, there's actually a pressure relief valve that you can pull up, and that will actually have water coming out of it. That way you know it's actually filled and ready to go. The last absolute thing that you should do is turn on that heating, that hot water heater button.
And after we read the warning on the element, because it clearly says the warning on the outside of it, we were like, hey, let's turn
Reading is fundamental.
let's turn the hot water heater on. And again, I'll say the grace comes is it was 6 hours later. We were fighting against darkness. It was one of the very few times that we went against all of our rules of traveling, where we would arrive at sundown. We actually arrived at the park before dark, but because we ran into a number of challenges. So even prior to you starting to dewinterize, what we discovered is that our water filter had busted because of the cold weather.
Well, the external one, the one that hooks
Correct.
up on the outside, typically it's a Camco blue external water filters.
It had burst because of the freezing temperatures for the extended period of time. And so the dewinterization did not help that process. Actually, what we should have done is disconnected that from our hose and make sure that there was no water in the filter itself.
Yeah, but that's not a big deal. It was stored away.
But imagine if you had to do it over, potentially you would have disconnected it from your water line and at least drained it. But because we aren't used to really dewinterizing, we just left everything intact and thought that we were good to go.
Well, that was your fault because you talking about, oh, we live in the South, it's good. We don't ever have to winterize. Well, apparently somebody had different plans for the southern region.
But if we want to point out things, who was it suggested, hey, maybe we should get our RV winterized because we're not used to freezing temperatures for multiple days? Who had that suggestion? I wonder.
It escapes me.
I wonder.
But anyway, we were able to get it winterized, so that was the big thing. I didn't winterize it, but so I ended up essentially having to pay to have it winterized and dewinterized. I think I will have the confidence now going forward based on this experience, and hopefully it does help you all if you have to dewinterize it yourself, kind of the steps that you should take. And definitely know where your water lines are. Like for us, the hot water, and you saw it earlier in the video, they're underneath the kitchen, so that's your hot and your cold.
And I know it may be like, of course it's there, but again, in the darkness, when you have never located them before, you're using flashlights, it's a lot going on. And then the one benefit that I'm glad we were at an RV resort, because typically RV resorts have stores and they know that RVers are going to need some sort of supplies. And so they may not have everything, but in this case, they did have a water filter. And so we didn't have to leave off property to go and locate that.
But do not throw away your attachments. Fail to realize, again, when I've ordered them previously on Amazon or wherever I can, they came with the little attachment, the hose. So when Mika brought them back to me, I'm like, all right, sweet. And I'm like, well, where's the hookup? Where's the hose? It's just the filter. So you may want to just keep a couple extra of those on there, the flex hose that goes on to the actual filter and your external water line, city water line. But you know, I had to go get mine.
Dumpster dive.
So, again, it's probably a lot that we're throwing at you, but it was a lot coming at us and didn't have a complete understanding of how this works. But I think moving forward, I will continue to have someone winterize it if needed. Now, I don't think I'm up for that challenge yet, but I know how to dewinterize, I think, now. I feel pretty confident about it.
I made one of the biggest mistakes that you should never make. So it cost me, but while I also had some other work done, had my bearings packed and resealed as well as the brake check, so everything was good on that. So I've gotten pretty much my yearly maintenance taken care of so we can get back on the road. But
what's the damage? You've danced around that little fact.
Yeah, let's just say the number starts with a 6 and a couple zeros after that.
1,000?
No, hundreds.
Oh.
So it was 605. So, you know, you live and you learn, and this one hurt a little bit more than anticipated. So.